What is up, bros, and welcome back. Now, it's not every day that you hit 1 million subs on YouTube, so I really wanted to celebrate by doing a follow-up to one of the most popular videos on the channel with another 100 tips and tricks in Rainbow Six Siege. Now, 1 million is quite a big family. I was going back and looking at some older uploads, and I found a lot of really hateful comments on the Fiverr video where I hired someone to carry me to Diamond. Even though he literally scammed me out of $100, in the whole scheme of things in this world, it's really just not worth our time and energy. And bras, we have a family of 1 million now. We're pretty damn strong, so I hope that you didn't feel like I encouraged that type of behavior, and I apologize if it ever seemed that way. Anyways, bra fam, in no particular order, we have a ton of tricks stemming from Pro League, Discord members, myself, things I've learned from getting slammed in ranked, and while I've included a ton of brand new tricks, you might see some that look familiar, and that is because I also took some of my favorite tricks that we've done in the last year that still work, and I've included it in this list to make the best 100 tips and tricks that you can use in Rainbow Six Siege. Now, without further ado, let's get into number 1. In at number 1, we have the brand new C4 trick. Now, I'm just going to let you listen, and I'll see you guys all in just a few seconds.
You will be detected if you remain in this area. You have been spotted.
Now, this C4 trick was taught to me by Michael, and it's an interesting one. Now, because walls have 2 layers to them, you can actually break them open on the other side of reinforced walls, and as long as you place your C4 on the outer layer, it'll still be facing inside, and it'll be very difficult to hear from the outside. This essentially allows you to C4 trick any thermite or maverick, and they're not going to know what hit them. On this list, I'm quickly showing off some cool spots for Border, Cafe, and Canal, and while this could easily be the title trick for a video, you're all nuts and don't need 8 minutes for one spot, and this is just number 1, so let's get on to the other 99 insane tricks now.
Left. Oh my god, bro.
Trick number 2 is the 1000 IQ shield that Nico was able to pull off in a Pro League match. He was able to use the gaps on the side of the shield to create a space between the crates and get an angle onto anybody that opens up the kitchen hatch. Now, even though the purple tarps is still transparent, riqq showed me a way on how you can actually still get up on top of the platform. Now, this first method he did by pushing you with a Monty, and then from there you can just kind of balance beam parkour along the side, jump on the speaker, and then run straight onto the platform. The tarps are still transparent. Now, while we were doing this, Dan and I figured out that you could also just kind of help nudge your friend on top of this ball, and from there you can do the same exact method. You can do this with any character, whether you're 3 armor, 3 speed, doesn't matter. And while it doesn't bring back the glory, it is still fun to do, and it may not even be that practical because sometimes it takes quite a while. riqq's brain is literally just huge. He also showed me how you can use slants and shields to get vertical angles down onto common spots while you stay 100% protected. Now, that last shield trick is pretty dang cool, but you can't use it on every site. If you want to use a cool deployable cover trick, you can always find a counter surface, and like how you do it with barbed wire, you can also do that with a shield to basically put like a Mira wherever you want. Now, we've already done a ton of cool things with deployable covers, but if you want something a little bit more simple, then consider placing your shield backwards. This allows you to have more maneuverability, all while still staying protected. Take this spot for example on Cafe here, I can easily rotate to both windows. The ceiling that's inside of the construction room on Clubhouse is really unique, and you can't find it in many places in Siege. They make for the perfect place to hide gadgets, and especially Wamai. This was actually done in a Pro League match, and if somebody cooks their grenade for too long, they are going to potentially kill themselves or a teammate. Alright, so we took care of one side of that objective. But did you know that there's certain sites where if you actually reinforce on the other side and then have your second reinforcement on the opposite side, it'll leave a small pixel. These reinforcements on CCTV is the perfect example, and if somebody rappels up the middle of the balcony, you can even see them there. Now, speaking about locking down balconies, you can actually impact trick the pillar box reinforced walls all the way from reception. Just line up your crosshairs like you see in this video, and you're gonna confuse the crap out of the enemy. Now, the last one's cool, but you don't really get kills with it. Here, check out this perfectly placed C4 to get it to land behind the first snowmobile that's closest to the garage on Chalet. It's gonna have a pretty high kill rate. Now, that last one is really good for taking out the Blackbeards that are hiding behind a snowmobile, but here, let's take out the campers that are inside of the objective from a completely different floor. Alright, taking a break from all of the crazy throws, let's do a little bit more of a simple throw, but this one will be a 400 IQ Valkyrie camera and bank. Now, similar to that last trick, you can also stick your camera to the bottom of surfaces in order to get views on like the bottom layer of the next floor up. This spot for security room is the perfect example, and the Valkyrie camera is underneath this like crate under the desk, so it stays hidden so well. Now, while you're down here, don't forget this C4 that Canadian used in a Pro League match in order to counter the West Balcony hard breach is always a good option. Okay, actually taking a break from all of the crazy eats, here, check out this Valkyrie camera that I use pretty much every time we defend kitchen and trophy. For whatever reason, it works so much. Alright, that last one was just way too simple. Here, let's do this cool geometry pool table math trick that's totally useless but funny to know about in order to get up on top of that hidden corner scaffolding in the garage on Clubhouse. Shout out to Aegizz and Goose for messing around and doing this one with me. I think we perfected the nomad placements. So yeah, when your rank's on the line, you're not going to run inside and help get a defender into a cool hiding spot, right? Something you could do though is rappel up in this one spot and get an early pre-fire onto one of the most common bomb sites on Clubhouse. This one falls into one of the more random categories, and this tip is just that if you happen to see me at an event, there is a 1 in a million chance that I will sign your ass cheek and then also give you an Amazon gift card for the new season of Siege. Alright, so going from Montreal to Outback, if you go prone underneath of this light, you can actually get your Valkyrie camera to go up inside of that little light shade, and you have crazy good views. Now, that last camera spot is really unexpected. Now, more unexpected Valkyrie cameras can be created by actually bouncing them off of themselves or off of your C4 and getting them to stick underneath the surfaces that you normally can't get them to. Lines of sight are something that I've been showing off on this channel since the beginning of time. This spot on Coastline has to be one of the craziest. It goes all the way from one of the spawns and main gate to the back of an objective. If you like that last one, then this is another really cool Kali angle to keep in mind. This one could actually be done with any character. It's a little bit closer in distance, but it goes through like 3 or 4 different walls and into the back of one of the sites where you could potentially catch somebody like an Echo on his drone. speaking of cool lines of sight, there's a really simple parkour that you can do on border, and you can get on top of the tank in order to get a cool line of sight into supply room, or if you have an ACOG and somebody destroyed the west balcony wall, you can even see into armory. A really simple and it seems pretty obvious run out is to run out of the garage and kill anybody that's rappelling on the south walls of Consulate. For whatever reason, we really don't see it that much in matchmaking though. Now that's kind of crazy, we got a quarter of the way through this video without doing a spawn kill yet. Well, we're gonna rapid fire some of my favorite recent ones. This one here is known as the GGGustis spawn peek and it comes from Twitter. Headed downstairs into Tellers, Nico showed me how you can vault up on top of the couch and then shoot over the fence straight into the running path of spawning in attackers. This is another crazy early one that Nico showed me. This one you could literally get a kill within the first couple seconds of a round starting. Now, if 3 or 4 seconds is a little bit too long, you like to get your spawn kills a little bit earlier, then here, check out this like 2-second nearly instant spawn peek that Nico showed me on Clubhouse. Now, if you feel dirty from those last few ones, that's totally normal. Maybe you're just not used to it yet. If you want to let them get a little bit closer to the building, then you can always hold this crazy long line of sight and you can punish anybody that's thinking about entering the building instead. When you throw this particular alibi outside on the map on border, it's really difficult to get rid of. It's going to soak up their time if they try to parkour their way up there and get an angle, but it also is going to complement you doing runouts because they're going to non-stop have that pop up on their screen. Another place that you can use that same alibi concept is going to be on Chalet. The goal here is that they're going to get comfortable by having that notification outside, and it's going to help you jump outside when you're ready and then get the kill on them when they're not expecting it. There's a really high up flank drone that you can manually throw on top of the pipes once you clear the top floor on Clubhouse. This next spot is utilizing this tiny little balcony that almost nobody uses. I actually saw this from the Team Sinister Pro League match where he jumped up here and checked this angle really quickly. It actually gives you a pretty good line of sight on top of the stairs. You don't need to have your Echo drone stuck to the ceiling in order to use it for a ton of intel. If you can get it on top of sneaky places, you can use it just like a regular drone. This spot was taught to me by G2 Sua, and it's such a sneaky place for a yokai drone. Whenever you get hit by a yokai drone, you automatically look up to the ceiling, so this place just goes unnoticed for so long. This Valkyrie camera spot is going to be similar to the one that we did over on border from underneath, but this time we're going to be throwing it to underneath of the couch in the upstairs office right on the bomb site. If you throw a KreD Electroclot underneath of the 4 supports, kind of underneath the reinforced wall as much as you can, it'll actually then be immune to the Kali Sniper ability, which is just crazy powerful, and I accidentally did this in a game. I wasn't even fully aware of that. Now, no matter what, always keep in mind that there are certain places that you can thermite next to reinforced and shock wired or muted walls, and you can still just completely open them no matter what. Now, if Oryx goes through walls, he will take 10 HP damage, but there are certain surfaces where he doesn't take any damage at all. Clearing this bar area with Oryx is so much more efficient than using half of your shotgun ammo, so it's something good to keep in mind. It feels like it's been way too long since the last spawn kill. I'm pretty sure it's been like 7 tricks. So here, we're going to show off a few of my favorite recent ones that still work beautifully. For this one, this gap actually works both ways. If you're rappelling up, especially as a Blackbeard, you can kill anybody that's going for the run out, and so it's just a good gap to know about no matter who you're playing as. Many of you now know the window trick has been patched, but for some reason on this window here in Chalet in the Great Room, there's actually a wooden surface that kind of sticks up even after you take out the bottom board. You can use this to spawn peek anybody that runs from the rock foundation in the cliffside spawn. If you feel like you want to do something a little bit more ballsy but still generally safe, you can always just jump out of that same window and then run to the right. There's a gap in between the trees that you can see any attackers running down this path perfectly, and it's so close you can get back inside really quickly. We did a lot of spawn peeks, so we're gonna do a couple counters now. This one's kind of like a 1 in 100 chance that somebody's gonna jump out or peek here, but also doubles is just a cool pre-fire spot. Now there's actually a gap in between the horizontal tire and the white van on Outback, and this counters the spawn peek from the window perfectly. This is definitely one of my favorite spawn peek counters. Everybody and their mother knows about this office spawn peek, but if you vault up on top of that green dumpster and then lean right, you can actually see through the gap in the stones and counter this beautifully. If you shoot out the top of the coat rack and then the items on top of the dresser, you can actually vault on top of this dresser inside the dorms and crouch next to the edge and then stand up. From there, you can actually see over that bunk bed and kill anybody on the big window. If you start to get pressured and your teammates are dying and you really just need to be next to the bomb, you can always go prone and shoot through the chain fence on the B bomb to get an angle so far back on the balcony outside of the big window. It's actually pretty crazy how far back it goes. Now back when we used the shield placements in the first few tricks, this is that barbed wire tactic that I mentioned previously. A lot of people waste their barbed wire in bad placements anyways, so it's going to be up to you if you want to utilize your barbed wire in this way or not. Another nasty place that you can use this barbed wire trick to block lines of sight is going to be on Canal watching the new bridge. Being in this spot already is really hard to see, but when you combine it with barbed wire, it just adds another layer of next level invisibility. This one right here is a really nasty bullet hole that Muzi used in the 6th Invitational. Now this surface is pretty weird, so make sure you only put 2 bullets directly on top of each other, otherwise this surface starts to break. Now since we're on the topic of bullet holes, this is my favorite bullet hole spot on all of the new theme park rework. You can melee out the beer bottles and then get a line of sight really close to the cash door entrance, and it's just really strong and it goes through 3 rooms. Now jumping over to border, we have Dan's bullet hole lineup that goes straight on top of the window and counters anybody that's thinking about entering this bomb site. This one's not a bullet hole, but it's still going to confuse the heck out of the enemies. A lot of people don't realize that this couch is completely bangable, and you can lay here completely incognito without people on the rappel realizing you're here. When you get the call out, you can shoot straight onto the windows through the couch. If bullet holes are just too simple for you, you can always go for like a sideways melee and then put a bullet hole in your melee hole and then place a nomad charge on top of that bullet hole. You'll now have a nearly silent nomad charge on the other side of the wall that almost nobody is going to be able to see. Now, a similar concept to that is once you place the diffuser, you can actually break the floor and then put a nomad charge underneath of the diffuser. That's going to give you a few extra seconds if anybody starts to push the diffuser, or if it's placed correctly, it can completely win you the round. Another way to go even more incognito with bullet holes is to use them on windows and to shoot them at a very sideways angle. Because windows are only one layer of wood, you can then do this without breaking the glass and drawing very little attention to yourself. Now, I know sideways bullet hole spawn peaks are pretty ratty. Here's another one of my most favorite ratty spawn peaks, and it's a window run on the theme park rework. This next one is a really simple window jump out to run and check the spawn. You have potential to get a really early kill, and it's really easy to rotate back inside. Now, if you don't really want to YOLO it all the way outside, you can always hold an angle and listen for the footsteps. You can pretty much pre-fire one tap anybody running next to that little garden entrance, and it lines up with their head perfectly. A spawn peek that seems like you're out in the open but is actually pretty good is if you go right on top of the corner pocket of the pool table. You'll then be protected from the main area that people run from the ruined spawn, but if they happen to go through the stone door, then it's going to be it for them. Alright, we just learned a ton of really cool coastline spawn peeks, so here's a good one to punish anybody that's just doing the common one on the pool window. Playing Jaeger on yellow stairs is really common, or at least having a bunch of ADSs there for the anchor. If you use your pool table geometry math, you can actually get a Thatcher EMP to bounce off the ceiling and land on top of the vending machine to take out anything that's placed on top of yellow stairs. Alright, so giving some more love to Echo, this one right here is my favorite unorthodox way to use Echo on Cafe. If you have your shadow quality on high or the setting above high, you can actually then tell when somebody is peeking the skylight by seeing when this little line of sight for the sun is blocked. You can then use that to pre-fire it and look like you're using wall hacks. There's a certain angle that you can get with a Maru to do the fastest rush possible on Chalet. You can actually go straight through the balcony window without having to stop at it. If the hatch is soft, you can even shotgun it and then be straight into sight within just a few seconds. This right here is a genius Electroclaw that Magic Cast posted on his Twitter. It's impossible to see from outside of the garage, and it's overall just so big brain. Right here is going to be one of the coolest grenade trick shots that we're going to be doing in this entire video. You aim your crosshairs where you see me, you can get it through the slates that are in the top of Chalet and get it to land in the bathtub perfectly. Jumping over to Villa, this is a really nice Valkyrie camera spot that you can use. It's so out in the open and so obvious, but it just goes unnoticed so much. A cool trick that you can do with Alibi's utility is if there are metal support beams underneath something like a rug or something else that's on the floor, you can use the bailiff to create a hole, and if you are able to place it on the metal railings, the bottom support beams for the hologram will be underneath the carpet and be incognito to the next level. Something that goes unnoticed quite a lot on theme park is that this entire balcony is destructible. It's a really common entrance point, and you can get a ton of kills by using C4 in this spot. This one right here is going to have 2 different C4 angles from the maps room on Canal. The first one's going to be going to red stairs, and then the second one is going to be on that roof entrance, so both really strong options. Now going to the other side of the map, not only do we have one of the better bomb sites on all of Canal, but you can actually throw your C4 up through the floor and get it to come back down on the other side to take out anybody that's entering through this door. Now throughout this video, we've been kind of evolving the different C4 tricks, but I don't know if any of them are as cool as how you can utilize the new shrapnel mechanics with the explosions from the nitro cells. You can essentially C4 people through solid walls by throwing it on the floor below and then having the blast radius kill people from really unexpected places. That last trick, we killed the planter in one of the most common safe places to plant on all of the site. This one here is going to be taking that same concept and doing it for the default plant spot in Billiards on Coastline. Now if you're a roamer with the C4 and you're not playing the anchor to counter the plant, this is a cool setup that you can use in the bathroom to take out anybody that comes to the window. There's a pixel located on this crate in the bottom of Chalet in the wine cellar, and it just happens to line up perfectly at head level. Another gap that a lot of people don't know about is if you run out of the museum door on Canal, you can actually look up and shoot people that are trying to get into pillar box. This right here is a really sneaky angle that Nico showed me, how you can watch anybody dropping from the new hatch and also approaching the new balcony. The distance for drones to detect a vigil is actually shorter if it's a vertical versus horizontal. So if you elevate yourself enough as vigil, you can actually be completely incognito to the drone. This is a cool little elevation trick that you can do by shooting out the corner of the plant and then getting on top of the railing to watch the stairs on Outback. It's really awkward to look up and fight back at this angle. Now Yana's holograms don't take any fall damage, and you can't really vault through certain heights, right? But did you know you can actually place them on top of ledges, and from there they can straight run down. It's a great way to get a ton of intel on certain spots like the lobby of bank. This is a really sneaky bullet hole line of sight setup that goes all the way from Billiards to VIP. If anybody's anchoring inside of the games room and you don't want to risk trying to wallbang them and them getting away, you can actually get a Capital bolt to go through a single bullet hole and trap them in this corner to get the free kill. Now, we all know that Maestro lost his ACOG, but that's okay. You can still do this if you get a couple of impact holes inside of the walls. You can get this line of sight that goes halfway across this map. If you rappel up the right side of the map on bank from the alley spawn and break some of the soft wall, you can actually have a really nice line of sight that cuts off rotations into open area. A really unorthodox way that you can use Maestro is by placing him on surfaces that you can actually stand behind and then using him as like a discount Mira. Nico actually has a post of him spawn peeking people with this on Consulate over on his Twitter. This right here is a combo setup that my friend showed me a clip of Pengu using, where if you put an Ela mine right below the hatch above red stairs, anybody that falls down is going to be completely trapped to where they're at and you can get a free C4 kill. Now, we all know that train room is completely destructible to get lines of sight down into kitchen, but here's the exact spot you need to get those pesky anchors off of the B-bomb. If you melee the right spot, you can actually get the melee hole to be looking through the chairs, and then you can watch pillar stairs. You can see the melee hole, but they have so many places that they need to check, it's going to be pretty hard to see. If you vault over the ledge on dragon stairs, you can actually land on the railing and shoot over this reinforced wall. You can even vault over and go for some crazy flanks. Now, I'm not saying this is something you're going to want to go for in every single ranked game because the setup is pretty extravagant, but it's something that's freaking badass to know about. Nico showed me how you can make a ramp out of this soft wall and get an angle over the hard wall that goes halfway across the theme park map. Alright, super simple, but a lot of people still don't know about this. You can simply vault up on top of the skylights on bank and get so many different angles onto anybody that might be in lobby. The piano window spawn peek on consulate is really common. A good way to evolve this is to go back towards yellow stairs and break open a little bit of the soft wall. If you want to be a super rat, you can even do this with bullet holes. A solid anchor spot that you can get a line of sight onto the bottom of yellow stairs is if you simply vault up on top of this box. Throwback to the Pro League match that covered this, you can actually impact trick the bathroom hatch while you're defending the garage on consulate. This right here is a precise grenade bounce that bounces off the top of a reinforced wall. I know I'm doing this with Buck, but you could also do this with Sledge, maybe get a friend to open it up for you, and you can bounce that grenade right off the top of the reinforced wall and get to anybody that's laying right behind the kitchen counter. Spawn peeking from this window on Big Tower is not usually a good idea, but what you can use it for is to get a crazy sideways angle onto the rooftop of Small Tower. A lot of people don't realize that this line of sight exists. This is the Big Brain Ela mine setup on Canal. Once they run past and detonate this from the drone hole, they're actually going to be too far from the window to turn around due to the concussion effects of the Grismont mine. A really easy way to get anchors out from behind the bakery counter is to just simply vault up on top of this black car and shoot over the black van. It goes right to head level, and a lot of people don't know that this line of sight exists yet again. This right here is a nasty line of sight that Zyronic and Macy J found on Theme Park. This goes all the way to the back of Throne Room. Using Bucker's Sledge, you can actually get up on top of this indefusable spot on the bunk bed. All you got to do is quickly shoot out an area that you can vault on top of, and then you'll instantly get a vault option on top of the bunk bed. Once you place it here, you can destroy the wall, and it's a guaranteed win even if your entire team dies. You could also anchor here with a defender, but I don't know, it's just so much more satisfying if you do it as an attacker with the diffuser. This is another really nasty diffuser spot. If you melee this cardboard box, you can actually place the diffuser inside of this cardboard box. And I mean, honestly, it's pretty realistic, right? You can literally plant a diffuser and then place a cardboard box on top of it. It makes it really hard to spot, but it is fully diffusable as long as the defenders can find it. This right here is another way that you can anchor and hold a nasty line of sight onto the garage stairs in Clubhouse. Unless somebody is pushing up really close on Catwalk, most of the times you can't shoot this far down onto the stairs, so it's just really unexpected. Now this right here is a nasty spawn kill on Outback that my friend Kefka found, and he was nice enough, he wanted to share it with the Bra fam, so here's his clip. Now last but certainly not least, with any gun you can open hatches. Every operator is essentially a soft breacher. If you angle it correctly, you can do it in as little as 2 megs. Anyways, Bra fam, thank you guys all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down below which trick was your favorite, and I'll see you all very soon in the next video. I love you all. Peace.